Honourable Roosevelt Scarrett, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Honourable Rosalind Paul, Minister for Commerce, Enterprise and Smaller Business Development, and Parliamentary Representative for the Paybush constituency, other Cabinet colleagues, Ambassador Steve Farrell, Cabinet Secretary, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Harold Gist, other Permanent Secretaries, Director of Agriculture, Mr. Ricky Brumant, Mr. Son, Head of the Chinese Agriculture Technical Mission and his team, Dr. Ballerina and Dr. Ekaterina of the FAO, Mr. Barton Clark, Director General of CADI, the Manager of the Aid Bank, other officials of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Jude Joseph, Elder of the Benz Seventh-day Adventist Church, distinguished representative of the farming community, other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am deeply moved and encouraged to see so many of you gathered here for this dialogue on agriculture. I know as farmers, your preference would be to be on your farms. But the fact that you are here tells me that you either have a lot to say to us, government, or the stewardship of the sector, or that you want to hear of our plans for the sector and how those plans will impact your farm and livelihoods, especially in this post-tropical storm Erica period. Whatever your expectations are, it is my belief that after this dialogue, we will all leave here satisfied that we have made a contribution in charting a path for agriculture in Dominica. My ministry stands ready and committed to ensure the implementation of a plan that will satisfy your needs as farmers, to the benefit of this, our beloved nation. Let me say that in spite of the widespread destruction to farm and farm access roads caused by Tropical Storm Erica, we are not starting with a clean slate. Since 2000, government has embarked on a series of policies and programs to ensure that agriculture remains an important sector of the economy. This is so for the many reasons that have been articulated by earlier pronouncement. Available statistics informs us that agriculture contributes some 17% to the country's gross domestic product, GDP, and employs 7,000 people, or 21% of the active workforce. In the budget address of the current fiscal year 2015-2016, a program of investment for the sector was rolled out that would have seen an increased contribution of agriculture to GDP, helping to propel our overall growth to 2.5%. The passage of Erica has reversed all of this. Recent assessments have indicated that GDP growth for 2015 is now projected to be 0.8%, rather than 1.9% higher than 2014 in real terms. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Agriculture has planned strategies for the sector, many of which were outlined in the 2015-2016 budget. And today, some of the key pillars from the plan, examples, coffee and cocoa, banana and plantains, root crops, vegetables, livestock, and the abattoir, bay and other essentials oil will form part of the framework for this dialogue. The final report on the rapid damage and impact assessment of the storm recently submitted to government by the World Bank estimate damages and losses to agriculture at 122.8 million. Of these losses, damage to road infrastructure has been estimated at 57.6 million. We have begun to tackle the damage to farm access roads, and the successful completion of this job will take us back to the situation in which we were before Erica. I have visited some of your farms, and one thing that I am convinced of is that Erica has not weakened either your spirit or your determination to restore and even improve on your farming operations. Government has already approached the European Union for a reprogramming of the resources under the Banana Accompanying Measures BAM and have received their agreement in principle. The reprogramming will address critical needs such as expanding the scope of work on farm access roads, production support to livestock and key crops, and intervention to enhance production in the bay and essential oils. Ladies and gentlemen, this government has not failed in its own efforts towards restoration of agriculture. Since Erica, more than 3,600 bags of fertilizer have been distributed to farmers, specifically to those already in production and those directly impacted by the storm. Additionally, government has just received about 9,050 kilogram bags of fertilizer, which additionally, government has just received about 9,050 kilogram bags of fertilizer, which shall be distributed to targeted farmers. But each of us must play our part and do so diligently. In that regard, let me appeal to those who receive subsidized inputs to use it for the purpose it was issued. That is, to assist you in increasing production on your farms. In an effort to mobilize additional support to the agriculture sector in Dominica, OECS Ministers of Agriculture convened a video conference sometime last week, and we received firm commitment by ministers that they would give priority to importation of Dominican produce into their respective countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the nation has already heard this from the Honourable Prime Minister, and I echo here that this government will spare no efforts, leave no stone unturned, and will pursue every legitimate avenue to ensure that we obtain the resources needed to restore and rebuild the agriculture sector for the benefit of us all. The ministry of Agriculture is committed to support and facilitate the emergence of new and improved farm and farming system from the rubble of Erica. This includes farmers at all levels, big or small. We have encouraged the formation of farmers groups in the various agricultural districts. And I pause to congratulate all of you who have responded and have already established your farmers groups. I am of the firm view that through these groups, farmers can learn and share best practices in agricultural production and adopt strategies for their mutual survival. Additionally, the extension officers will be able to organize group sessions on farms, hopefully allowing for the more efficient and productive use of the officers' time. At best, such an approach would help lessen and hopefully eliminate the complaints of farmers, albeit a few, that they do not know who their extension officer is, far less to see him or her. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation to follow will provide greater dialogue on the plans and continuing intervention which should place agriculture on a sustainable growth path. I appeal to you to use the opportunity to speak up. Now is the time for you to play your part in the transformation of the sector so that it serves you and Dominica better. Before I conclude, let me, on behalf of our dear Prime Minister and the government, thank the many organizations and institutions, some of whom are present with us today, for their prompt response to our call for assistance in the agricultural sector in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Erica. Let me also thank the staff of the ministry and you, the good farmers, who made a great effort and ensured that we had local produce for consumption and export. As I conclude, and in the spirit of the theme of our independence celebration, Rebuilding Dominica Together, I call on all Dominicans to support the farmers by choosing to buy and use local produce over which is imported. The entire cabinet is here with you throughout the day. Let me reiterate that this dialogue today is about you, our farmers. So understand, embrace, and make the best use of this opportunity before you today. For indeed, we can all contribute towards a more dynamic and resilient future in agriculture. God bless our beautiful country, Dominica. God bless our farmers. God bless our deliberation. I thank you.